So you want to know what Lake County board members get paid? Buckle up because this is going to make you seriously reconsider your career choices. Lake County board members earn $43,018 per year, a figure frozen since 2018 and extended through at least 2026 by board vote despite inflation discussions. The board chair makes $97,408 plus a $7,000 automotive stipend that some members have called excessive or unnecessary. Now, before you say that doesn't sound too bad, these are part-time positions. We're not talking about a full-time government job here. County board members meet periodically, serve on committees, and vote on county business. Most of them have other jobs. Some are business owners, some are consultants, some are lawyers. This is essentially supplemental income. But here's where it gets really interesting, and by interesting, I mean infuriating, maybe. Lake County board members participate in the Illinois Municipal Retirement Fund, IMRF. And here's the kicker. There used to be a special pension program specifically for elected county board members. The Elected County Officials, or ECO plan, that was so ridiculously generous, it made the state legislature's pension look almost reasonable by comparison. Under the regular IMRF, you'd need to work 35 plus years to maximize your pension benefits at around 75% of your final salary. But under the ECO plan, you could max out at 80% of your final salary after just 20 years. Let me say that again. 20 years gets you 80% of your salary, not 75% like regular government workers who dedicate their entire careers, 80% for about half the time. And it gets better or worse depending on your blood pressure. The calculation was based on your final paycheck, not your average of your last 4 years like everyone else. So late career pay raises could spike your pension even higher. And you didn't even have to serve 20 continuous years on the county board. Any government work counted. Years spent as a lifeguard, that counts. Township supervisor, that counts. But wait, there's more because we're in Illinois, land of pension controversies. The ECO plan was closed to new participants after August 8th, 2011. Legacy participants, those who joined before then, could continue under revised Tier 1 or Tier 2 rules with enhanced benefits. But no current or new Lake County board members could enroll in this turbocharged version. Some counties, including Lake in certain cases, debated or opted out due to taxpayer costs. And then there was the double dipping issue that really sparked outrage. Around 2019, at least 6 Lake County board members, and more across Will, McHenry, and King counties, at least 13 total in reports, were collecting IMRF pensions while simultaneously serving on the board and receiving their $43,018 salary. This was possible thanks to a provision in the 2016 law. If county board members didn't submit timesheets showing that they worked at least 1,000 hours per year, they could no longer contribute to IMRF, but that allowed them to start collecting their pension while keeping their board seat and salary. So these folks were pulling in anywhere from $15,000 to $82,000 in annual pension payments on top of their board salary. One Will County board member, James Mustis, collected $82,124 per year from his IMRF pension while receiving a $24,000 county board salary. His pension was more than 3 times his actual salary for the job. This wasn't unique to Lake County. It was happening in neighboring counties too. When confronted about this, Lake County board member Judy Martini said, "I followed the rules and now they want to change the rules." Board member Steve Carlson echoed, "I just did what I was told to do." And technically, they were right. This was legal at the time. IMRF advised them. County HR staff confirmed it was allowed. They weren't breaking any laws. But legality and ethics are two different things. The controversy that led to reform. State Senator Terry Link introduced legislation, SB 1236, to prohibit elected officials from receiving salaries while collecting pensions for the same position. The bill passed in the Senate in 2019, cleared the House, and was signed into law by Governor J.B. Pritzker. It phased in over terms, effectively closing the loophole for ongoing double dipping in the same rule. As a result, double dipping for the exact same job is no longer allowed today. Pensions from prior or different government service are still permitted and very common, but not while drawing salary for the current board position. State Senator Melinda Bush, a former Lake County board colleague of some of these members, fired back during the debate. "I collect a $12,000 a year pension from 16 years in education. I opted out of my legislative pension. These people are collecting a pension for the same job they're still being paid for. It's absurd. And she's right. There's a fundamental difference between collecting a pension from a job you no longer hold and collecting one from a job that you're currently doing. Now let's talk about what else county board members get. They're elected officials, so they're covered by Social Security and pay FICA taxes like everyone else. They receive health, dental, vision benefits through the county. Though board members contribute towards those benefits, it's not free. Travel reimbursement and mileage are provided for official county business. As far as I can tell, there are no more P cards or expense accounts in the traditional sense, but travel costs for legitimate county business is covered. And no, county board members do not receive campaign funds from the county. They have to raise or spend their own money for campaigns just like any other candidate. Are these positions full-time or part-time? They're definitely part-time. The board meets periodically throughout the year. Members serve on committees, they review the budgets, pass ordinances, make policy decisions, but this is not a 40-hour-a-week job. Most board members have that regular full-time employment elsewhere. Which brings us back to the pension issue. The old ECO plan was the special program I mentioned, created around 2010 and allowing officials to turbocharge retirement benefits. And let me just tell you, some people did take advantage back then. There's the case of Bill Mayo, a DuPage County official who received rapid late career raises, including 14 and 16% bumps. That spiked his final salary to $125,000. He retired 6 months later with a starting pension of $100,000 per year. The director of IMRF called it pension spiking. Mayo's boss defended it, saying Mayo deserved the raises for collecting overdue fines and handling more responsibilities. Mayo himself had previously said he'd only support ECO if it's in the long-term interests of the taxpayers. Spoiler, it wasn't. So let's bring this back to Lake County in 2026. Board members still make $43,018 per year for the part-time work. The chair makes $97,408 plus the $7,000 car stipend. They participate in IMRF, standard tiers now since ECO is closed to new entrants, which, especially under legacy rules for pre-2011 participants, offered extraordinarily generous benefits compared to private sector retirement plans. And all of this is funded by property taxes, Lake County property taxes, which are among the highest in the nation. And here's what kind of gets me, the optics of it. These are people who vote on budgets. They decide how much money gets spent on roads and public health and county services. They control the purse strings, and they've perpetuated, or at least benefited, from a system where part-time service comes with decent pay, perks, and retirement packages that would make private sector workers jealous. Meanwhile, the median household income in Lake County is around $95,000, depending on recent data. So a family where both spouses work full-time jobs might collectively earn roughly what the board chair makes, except those families aren't building towards a 75% pension after a few decades. Is this the worst pension abuse in Illinois? No. State legislators hold that crown, but it's still part of the same problem. A political class that has insulated itself from the fiscal realities facing everyone else that lives around them. Because here's the thing about pensions. They're promises. Promises to pay someone else for decades after they've stopped working. And those promises are backed by taxpayers. And when politicians vote themselves generous benefits, they're not spending their own money. They're spending yours and mine and everyone else who pays property taxes in Lake County. Now, to be clear, I have thought about it a lot and actually think that elected officials should work for free. County board members do some important work. They make real decisions that impact a lot of people's lives. So they probably deserve some compensation. But $43,018 a year for part-time work with access to pensions that will pay them most of their salary for the rest of their life and the past ability to double dip, I don't know that that falls completely under fair compensation. That seems to fall in the category of a sweetheart deal. And the fact reforms fix the worst abuses doesn't erase the history or the ongoing taxpayer burden from legacy pensions. Because at the end of the day, Lake County taxpayers are footing the bill, not just for current salaries, but for pensions that will continue for decades. And unlike the private sector, where companies can go bankrupt if they overpromise pensions, government pensions are protected by the Illinois Constitution. They can't be reduced, they can't be renegotiated, they're locked in, which means every generous pension voted in by past boards becomes a permanent obligation for future taxpayers. So the next time someone tells you that Illinois has a revenue problem, ask them about county board pensions, ask them about the old ECO plan, ask them about the double dipping that used to happen and the reforms that finally stopped it for the same job. And then ask yourself, who exactly is this system designed for? Because I'm pretty sure it's for a handful of people and not the masses. Dreaming of Disney but worried about the cost? Meet Just the Essential Disney Hacks. This compact guide is your ticket to a magical vacation without the villainous price tag. Learn insider tips on saving money on everything from tickets to meals. Discover how to maximize fun while minimizing your expenses. Don't let budget fears keep you from creating unforgettable family memories. Get just the essential Disney hacks today and start planning the Disney trip you've always wanted at a price you can afford.